Welcome everyone to Relationship Heaven. Here is Kamelia Petkovsky and our special guest for today, Mugur Badarau, trainer and NLP resident coach. Welcome, Mugur.
Thank you, Kami. Thank you for having me here. And hello, everybody. I'm just excited to be here and have the interview with you, Kami.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
So here's our first question. Which are the most common problems that you meet in your everyday practice?
Although people are different and unique in their own way, they do have similar problems. And the most common relationship issues I meet in my coaching practice are lack of trust, boredom, bad sex, cheating, bad communication, money problems, change of needs, and interference from family or friends.
Wow, that's quite a large spectrum you have there. What would you consider to be the one element that can make or break a relationship?
So usually the package is important when it comes to start a relationship. And that's because most people would prefer partners with good looks. But the most important ingredient that makes or breaks a relationship, in my opinion, of course, is communication. Without communication, the incipient relationship we have with an attractive stranger may turn into just one-night stand or into a poor and disappointing conversation.
Exactly.
And when we do not have shared topics of discussion, we become bored or nervous or just not interested anymore in that person. So we end it right there. Lack of communication or poor communication or miscommunication are the number one element that breaks a relationship. I don't have any official statistics to quote, but I have the illustration provided by my own experience and the experience of my friends and my clients. We are social beings, and I think communication is extremely important for us.
I would second that. In my opinion, also communication is essential to any successful relationship. I think it's safe to say that we all have our own, we all had a form of pain or another in our intimate relationships. Tell us about your favorite method of relieving former traumas or relationship pain.
So, in my experience, there are two categories of people who are victims of traumas. Most of them would be dissociated from their experience because this is just a natural mechanism for protection. They would just bury very deeply their traumatic experience and at some point just forget about it. It doesn't mean that the trauma does not affect them. It does, but not at a conscious level. Just influences them in a variety of subtle ways that could make their life miserable, or they would not even realize why. And at some point, these people would seek professional help, and they could come to me for some issues in their life, and eventually would discover their deeply buried traumatic experience. The second category of people living with trauma are those who are aware of it, and most of them come to me and ask for a hypnosis session. They want someone to come with a big sponge and erase
Wipe it all out.
just like erasing a blackboard. They heard that hypnosis can do that, and they come to me with this idea in mind. But I don't utilize hypnosis during my first session with a client. I just employ hypnosis only when other types of intervention are not working. So to answer your question, I really don't have a favorite method for relieving trauma or pain. What I do, I start with classic coaching tools like active listening and questions creating reflexive awareness, such as what have you learned today? And depending on the response of the client, I would bring into the scene other tools such as timeline therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, dynamic spin release, neurohypnotic repatterning, core transformation, emotional freedom techniques, and of course, Ericksonian hypnosis. So I don't have a recipe to stick to and implicitly a favorite method. I just pay attention to the needs and responses of my client, and I bring in the method I consider most suitable for their particular case.
Do you have like an advice for someone who has such trauma before he actually comes to coaching? I mean, like a small tip, that a way for him to handle his situation?
Mm-hmm. As I said, what most of them do would just dissociate themselves from the trauma. I mean, they would just bury deep inside of themselves, and this is a natural protective mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't seek professional help immediately. They would just feel that something is wrong in their life at some point, and they would become conscious of their problems which would not be related to that traumatic event in the first phase. So this is what they naturally do, most of the people. And after that, they would come to seek a professional help.
Okay. So basically, it's really hard for a normal person to see the difference between his problems and the actual trauma which happened in the past.
Yes, I mean, they would just tend to protect themselves from the trauma. So this is how we are naturally constructed to function, to protect ourselves consciously. So they'll just put a barrier between them and their traumatic event. And they would do it naturally without any professional help, without...
But in the end, I would think that dealing with the trauma is going to lead to a healthier life, either relationship-wise or professional, who knows, in different fields.
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Let's go to the next question. What would you say would be the first thing you need to clarify with your partner when you need to start a new relationship?
It depends. If that person is truly in love with their partner, they don't need to clarify anything. I mean, unconditional love, which is the only true love, it just is. I mean, it's just love. And a person in love genuinely doesn't worry about what comes back. They're just giving love.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but since true love is rather rare, most relationships are based on the satisfaction of the needs. I think that the two partners need to clarify from the very beginning how their needs will be met in their relationship. And I like the 6 human needs described by Anthony Robbins, which you also presented on your Relationship Heaven blog.
Yeah.
And they are certainty, uncertainty, significance, connection and love, growth, and contribution. So checking with your partner how these 6 human needs are catered for is the first thing, in my opinion, you need to clarify when starting a new relationship.
Yeah, that's rather useful. And as you said, most people actually settle for what Anthony Robbins called the second level relationship. So one which is you're just trading, as you described it. If you actually love the person, then you don't need to take into consideration these levels, because you are going to give everything that you have, so in all shapes and forms. So you are going to give also certainty and love and connection and diversity, because you want to give the best for your partner. But when you settle for trading, then you take into consideration, oh, what did he give me? What should I give back?
Exactly.
And so on. Unfortunate. Some people make it work.
Yeah.
And finally, since I hear this a lot lately from a lot of people, what tips would you have for a very shy person who can't bring himself or herself to speak to attractive potential partners?
I have a tip which is highly effective for shy people. It is a technique that comes from dynamic spin release. And I can just give you the script, which can be employed on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
It has 7 steps. And firstly, that person needs to identify the unpleasant thought, feeling, emotion, or physical symptom that keeps them from speaking to that attractive person. Secondly, the person needs to pay attention to the physical sensations and or visual images associated with the problem. Thirdly, they need to imagine removing the problem. from their self and placing it outside, where they can see it floating in the space just in front of them in the form of an image or a symbol. And now it comes the fourth step, when they need to determine which way the image is spinning. Is it spinning clockwise or counterclockwise? If it appears motionless, then the person needs to ask if it was spinning, which direction would it be spinning in. Fifth stage is when they reverse the direction of the spinning and get it going faster and faster until the image explodes and disappears, and a new healing image or gift appears in the space out in front of them. And they need to bring the gift back into their body and notice all the new feelings and new understandings they get from this gift. And the last seventh step is when they look out into their future and think about how this gift will positively influence their interaction with that attractive person. Actually, the technique takes some 30 seconds. It is highly effective, and it can be done on the spot. When they see that attractive person in front of them, they can just run all this script in their mind, and they will notice immediate changes.
That's awesome. I would like actually for you to give us the script so we can post it on the blog.
Yeah, without any problem. But I would also suggest this person to go and seek a professional help. I mean, they really need to discover the reason behind their shyness and make the adequate changes.
I totally agree with that. I also had a suggestion for this type of person. It's a bit uncomfortable, so it implies that the person goes out of their comfort zone. It's based on actually one of the recommendations from Anthony Robbins. He's saying that in order to be successful, you have to be comfortable with so much uncertainty that you get yourself to do the things you need to do in order to achieve your goals. And one of the suggestions would be to go out in the mall, for example, sit next to the stairs where everyone is going down or up, and talk to every attractive female or male that you see, and ask them for a coffee, and get up to 3 positive replies or negative replies a day, and then you can go home. So if you do that daily, I'm pretty sure that in 1 week you will have no problem with doing that.
It's a matter of practice.
Yeah. And getting confidence. And this you only get, you have to learn in the end that it's not the end of the world if someone says no to you, and it's not personal. They just don't have time, or
they're just not into you. I mean, it can happen. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, most shy people would be paralyzed with the fear of failure. They would just think, oh, I won't do that because I will get a negative answer and it will diminish my self-esteem, and I'll be a mock of everyone because that attractive person would say no, or would even say some bad things to me, and in most cases, it's just a fear of failure.
And I'm usually saying, like, think of the alternative. You're alone until the end of your days. Do you want that or a bit of pain now?
It's more comfortable. I mean, it's something they know.
Yeah, it's comfortable, that's for sure. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and see you next time then.
See you. Thank you.
And to those of you listening to us, until next time, don't forget, love with passion.